Good afternoon. Rightly said by Hippocrates, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. The food we eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. A very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. I, on behalf of Postgraduate Government College for Girls, Sector 42 Chandigarh, and Indian Dietetic Association, Chandigarh Chapter, welcome you all to the national webinar on Poshan ke Liye Paudhe, an investment to good health, an initiative to celebrate National Nutrition Month, September 2020. We have amongst our speaker, Dr. Nancy Sani, dietitian, PGI Chandigarh, Principal Ma'am from PGGCG 42, Professor Binu Dogra, and Dr. Manpreet Kaur, Head Department of Home Science, PGGCG 42, Chandigarh. Now I request Professor Binu Dogra for the formal welcome. Before that, Professor Binu Dogra is principal of PGGCG 42 since 2016. She has a strong experience of handling college administration and financial duties. She has excellent teaching experience of about 36 years and has ability to train teachers to do their best. She is an expert in preparing effective college curriculum and managing student relations. She possesses super communication and interpersonal skills. She is a member of Academic Council in Punjab University, Chandigarh. Professor Dogra is member of many professional bodies and has published a number of books and papers in referred journals, and she has been invited as a keynote speaker in many national and international conferences. She was conferred with State Award by Chandigarh Administration on Republic Day 2020 for rendering meritorious services in the field of higher education. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Kalyani. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great you all to the national webinar on Poshan ke liye Paudhe and investment in good health in collaboration with Indian Dietetic Association Chandigarh chapter. The theme of the seminar is quite relevant and significant, keeping in view the ongoing COVID-19 crisis at the global level. Rashtriya Poshan Maha, also known as National Nutrition Month, is celebrated every year in the month of September. An initiative by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. The critical goal of this mission is to reduce undernutrition, low birth weight, stunting, and anemia among children. A healthy diet with requisite amount of nutrition for optimal growth may help in decreasing such problems. A decline in the quality of diet and disruption in services such as ICDS and midday meal program as a consequence of COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increase in malnutrition among children. Thus, the third Rashtriya Poshan Maah September 2020 focuses on two major activities: identification and tracking of children with service acute malnutrition and plantation drive to promote kitchen gardens. The webinar has been designed in consonance with the theme of the Not No More and the ongoing pandemic. It will serve the purpose of providing us the base knowledge on how to maintain our health and immunity for fighting diseases. It's placed on record that our distinguished speaker who will deliberate on various issues pertaining to this virtual national seminar is Dr. Nancy Sani, dietitian from PGI, who will be enlightening us and our participants. I would also like to thank her for accepting our invitation to take this session today. I hope this discussion during the seminar would provide different dimensions about the importance of quality nutrition for good health. So come and let's join all and pledge to eat a healthy, well-balanced diet. At the same time, let's give special attention to the health of our children for their bright and healthy future, thereby ensuring a bright and healthy nation. Besides, I wish the seminar be successful and reach its goal as mentioned. I appreciate the efforts of Dr. Manpreet Kaur, HOD, Department of Home Science, convener of the seminar, along with other members of the faculty in organizing this virtual seminar. So I would also request all the participants to be attentive throughout the session and incorporate all the learnings from their today's session in their lives. On this note, I once again wholeheartedly welcome everyone attending the webinar. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are celebrating the month of September as the Rashtriya Poshan Mah, the National Nutrition Month. It is a Government of India initiative by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. This year, two major activities have been planned at the grassroots level. First is the identification and tracking of children with SAM, severe acute malnutrition. And the second is a very interesting theme. It's a plantation drive for promotion of kitchen gardens under the Poshan ke Liye Paudhe drive. Now, this theme of promoting kitchen gardens is actually a very basic and a first step towards sustainable eating and thereby achieving sustainable nutrition outcomes. With the motto of each one plant one, this drive urges each one of us to plant one sapling at least. This is a perfect example of making this drive into a mass movement, community involvement, and shouldering a collective responsibility. Now, we all are pretty much aware of the important role that is played by fresh, seasonal, and regional foods, not to forget the role played by various herbs and spices in our diets. From being anti inflammatory to being nutrient dense, they are potent enough to fight infections and keep ailments at bay. And in this current COVID crisis, it becomes even more pertinent to address this issue of malnutrition, better management of non communicable diseases, and improving and maintaining immunity, which will go a long way in fighting the infections that are lurking around us and promote better and faster recovery. Rural areas, they have ample space for establishing kitchen gardens. It is simpler, but with rapid urbanization, many of us do not have enough space to grow kitchen gardens. But with the popularization of growing plants and herbs in small containers and balconies, on rooftops, establishing terrace gardens, hydroponics, and microgreens, everything is possible now. It just requires a firm will and a little initiatives to start one. And apart from enhancing the nutritional status of households, kitchen gardens have a potential to improve physical activity and reduce sedentary behavior also. Now, this year, our worthy Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, in his Mann Ki Baat on the 30th of August this year, has talked about initiating the concept of nutrition cards and nutrition monitors in schools for for creating awareness about nutrition at the school level. And a Bharatiya Poshan Krishi Kosh is also being developed to provide information about the food produced in every district of a country. Another interesting concept is a state of the art nutrition park that is being created at the Statue of Liberty in Gujarat, which is likely to be dedicated to the nation on 31st October 2020. So, to speak about this topic and enlighten us on Poshan ke liye Paudhe, an investment to good health, we are very privileged to have amongst us Dr. Nancy Sani, dietitian, PGI Chandigarh. Dr. Nancy holds a doctorate degree from PGI and she has more than 20 years of experience to her credit. Her field of interest is majorly in clinical nutrition, and she has presented several papers at various forums and is a proud recipient of the President's Award for Paper Presentation at the Indian Dietetic Association and the Young Investigators Award at the World Congress of Clinical Nutrition. She has chaired several sessions at national and international seminars. She has a number of publications in national and international journals and has also contributed chapters in various books. She is a guide and a co guide for MSc, MS, PhD, and DM students. She is also a life member of various prestigious associations. So I proudly present to you Dr. Nancy Sani. Over to you, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manpreet, and thank you so much, all the organizers of this webinar. Special thanks to Professor Binu Rugra, and thank you, Kalyani, for everything you did. And really grateful. I am actually honored. And definitely, as you said, it is the need of the hour. This topic discussion is the need of the hour. Seeing so much of infection around, and we really need to introspect what is wrong where, and where is our immunity going, and how to just fight it out. So we are Homo sapiens. We have one quality of a brain, and then we have to apply it, and we have to really apply it on what we eat, because we are what we eat. So let's start. Should I share the screen? Can you all see? Is it okay? So I'll be talking on Poshan ke liye paudhe, and investment to good health. Now, although deemed a more modern movement, plant-based thinking has been around for centuries, steeped in ancient philosophies and religions. If you see the history of plant-based diet, right from the Vedic era, plant-based diet was encouraged for religious and health purposes. Famous personalities like Pythagoras, the one who gave this famous Pythagoras theorem, and artist Leonardo da Vinci, and the bygone eras, and to the personalities like Beyonce and celebratory trainer Marco in 2015, embraced plant based diets and promoted the idea of vegetarianism to their followers. In between, in early and mid 90s, as well as in early 20s, various famous writers wrote books to promote plant based eating. The vegetarian restaurant Moosewood was founded in New York. It became a bastion of plant based eating in 1973. In 2016, Plant Based Food Association was founded. My Plate guidelines, which are based on 2015 to 2020 dietary guidelines for Americans, include information to create a balanced vegetarian eating pattern to meet nutritional needs. These guidelines state that appropriately planned plant based diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. So, you see, not only do these plant based diets have a long history throughout human evolution, they continue to be more popular today. The International Food Information Council Foundation listed plant based eating as one of the 5 food trends to watch in 2019, citing that sales in this food category have grown 20% since 2017. And IFIC, as in 2018 Food and Health Survey, also notes the increased sales of plant-based milk and meat alternatives. So today I'll be talking about the preventive and the therapeutic use of plants, and as basic nutrition for the body, as well as a touch on medicinal plants. Before that, I would also like to mention that it's actually very good to even breathe plants. Yes, you heard it right. To breathe plants, like you all know that plants give us oxygen during the day, but some plants are oxygen exhaling during the night as well, because they follow a different type of photosynthesis. And the biggest benefit is that they improve the air quality. Imagine the quarantine days, like when one has corona and is in a quarantine for a good 17, 20 days, and even the lockdown days when one you can't go out, even for the elderly who can't venture out of the home. So having these plants is a boon, and they clear the air of so many obnoxious gases like trichloroethylene, which is found in paints and varnishes, benzene, it's found in oils and plastics. Formaldehyde is found in grocery bags, facial tissues, cleaning agents, xylene, again in paints and vehicle exhaust. Ammonia is in household cleaners. So you see, we are all, our lifestyle is such that we are all, with all these gases. And such plants such as neem tree, snake plant, tulsi, areca palm, aloe vera, spider plant, people tree, money plant, and some flowers like jasmine, orchid, lavender, they are all oxygen exhaling during the night, and they give extra, punch of oxygen to us. Coming to the basic this theme, that is plant-based diet. Now, what is a plant-based diet? A diet comprised of mostly plant foods. It does not mean vegetarian or vegan. Plant foods include fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, beans and legumes, coffee, tea. Now, why a plant-based diet? Now, studies have shown it can decrease risk of many chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke, obesity. Now, you must be all aware of the fact that the highest mortality rate in these corona fatalities has been all these comorbidities. Improves the plant-based diet, it improves health because it is nutrient dense, it is a holism. It gives one thing in plant nutrient. It is not just only one nutrient, it gives whole of the nutrients like energy, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and fiber and phytochemicals which you can't get from the animal based diet. Now, 30% reduced risk of dying from cancer for people eating more than 7 servings per day of fruits and vegetables, and 10% reduced risk of dying from cancer for people eating 1 to 3 servings of uh, fruits and vegetables per day. And consumption of 1 ounce of nut 5 days a week reduces the risk of dying from both cancer and any other disease. Now, the new paradigm is holism. It defines nutrition as a synergistic and holistic effect of food on the health. Nutrients interact with other nutrients and don't work in isolation. They never work in isolation. They work in as an interaction. So, effect of whole food is greater than any of its components, and plant foods do exactly the same. For example, is fruit is not just a sugar. It has fiber, it has vitamins, it has phytochemicals, it has minerals, and it gives you energy. Similarly, brown rice is not just a carb, and an avocado is not just a fat. So, all these nutrients, the biologically holistic process by which the elements of foods and water are used by the body to optimize health, this is called holism. The highly integrated reactions and events of countless food chemicals working together as in a symphony. So, you hear a very good music when all the instruments are working together in a symphony. So, it's the same in nutrients in plants. Now, see, these foods do not have labels. They give you a holism approach. Like you pick up one and you have almost all the nutrients. Now, for example, plant proteins are the best fuel for the body. Why? Because they are also nutrient dense, they are also anti inflammatory, antioxidative, they give energy as well and prevent and reduce so many non communicable diseases. And a plant based diet with adequate calories will always contain enough protein. Now, phytochemicals are the compounds only in plants that promote health and give plants their distinctive color, smell, taste. New research shows that they may very well be essential to life and for prevention of cardiovascular diseases and cancer. There is no daily reference intake of phytochemicals. For example, curcumin in turmeric, tomatoes have lycopene, and gentisin in soybean, capsaicin in chilies, and gingerol in ginger, and so on and so forth. Now, carotenoids, if you talk about these phytochemicals, that is carotene, lutein, lycopene, they're found in carrots, fruits, vegetables, and tomatoes. And research has shown that they help in reducing muscle fatigue, neutralize free radicals, it's the need of the hour, reduce risk of prostate cancer, regulate cell growth, modulate gene expression, and they also regulate body fat and modulate obesity. Now, flavonoids, these are the polyphenols found in pigmented foods such as leafy greens and citrus fruits, tea, berries, chocolates, and they have shown to have antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-platelet, as well as antibacterial activities. Now, in one of the book chapters I wrote in a book called Endometriosis, the chapter number 14, Alternative Medicine for Endometriosis Diet and Nutrition. Now, here I've mentioned about green tea. It has 30 to 40% of its dry weight of polyphenols, particularly catechins, and it possesses antioxidant activity. Green tea is an immunity booster and expels dioxins from the body. And cytokines in green tea mediate the regulation of inflammatory responses. And catechins, they function as a major antioxidant in human LDL. So green tea polyphenols can significantly reduce endothelial cell proliferation in a dose-dependent manner. Now coming to lignans, it's a group of polyphenols, a major class of phytoestrogens. Now this is, what is lignans? It's the outer coat of the seed and it is a woody part of the plant, but it is 100 times higher in the flax seed. Flax means ulsi, that in any other foods. So research has shown that it helps in lowering blood pressure and it has a protective effect against heart disease and breast cancer. Now, isoflavones, they are polyphenols. Human research supports benefits of soy foods. The research has shown that it lowers type 2 diabetes risk, lowers menopausal symptoms, lowers gynecological cancers, prostate cancers, and also lowers loss of cognitive function. Non-starchy polysaccharides, so all these we get from plants. Fucodin and beta-glucan, rich in mushrooms, barley, oats, brown seaweeds, wheat bran, and they cause apoptosis of cancer cells, brain development, they help in brain development. They act as antithrombotic, lower blood pressure, reduce the risk of breast, colon cancer. They improve cholesterol and reduce cardiovascular diseases. Glucosinolates, they are sulfur-containing compounds found in Brassica family, cruciferous vegetables, and they are activated by chewing. And they have anti-cancer, anti-cardiovascular disease, and these properties, and they also help in immune regulation. Now, epidemiological studies suggest that consumption of a diet high in fruits and vegetables is associated with a reduced risk of chronic diseases. Unfortunately, there is not yet enough evidence to support the concept that phytochemicals are responsible for these effects. Now, therefore, a recommended intake of phytochemicals does not currently exist. Today, many health authorities such as American Cancer Society and American Heart Association recommend consuming diet high in fruits and vegetables to ensure an individual ingests an adequate amount of phytochemical compounds. Now, all these colorful fruits and all these colorful vegetables and all legumes, nuts and beans and grains and seeds and flours, they are full of these phytochemicals. And of course, plants also give you omega-3 fatty acids, which enhances the function of immune cells. And you can find them in chia seeds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds, sunflower seeds. And vitamin A is found in all the yellow, green, and orange fruits and vegetables. It protects by keeping skin and tissues in mouth, stomach, and respiratory system healthy. Vitamin C is found in abundance in citrus fruits and green leafy vegetables and stimulates antibody formation. Vitamin B also acts as a potent antioxidant, and the sources are nuts and oil seeds. Vitamin B6 and B9, they enhance intestinal immune response, and they have cytotoxic activity. And again, the sources are all the whole grains, nuts, seeds, pulses, green leafy vegetables. These are all the rich sources. And coming to minerals like zinc and selenium and magnesium, they help reduce oxidative stress, altering the host response to viral infections. And again, if you look at the sources, they are all whole grains, dals, pulses, soya beans, and seeds, nuts, and oil seeds. Prebiotics and probiotics both help to reinforce the immune system, increase the immune response, and promote specific immune signaling. Now, prebiotics are specific forms of dietary fibers that stimulate the growth of gut microbiota, which is very, very important. And the sources are garlic, onion, banana, barley, oats, apple, flax seeds, wheat bran. Whereas probiotics, they are specific strains of live bacteria found in foods, specifically in fermented foods like dokla, idli, and all that, sauerkraut. So you have the probiotics from there. So if you talk about gut health, you must have seen that you must have seen, as well as you must have experienced, that there is the gut and the brain, they are connected, because it's the age old saying that all diseases begin in the gut. You must have had all of you must have used this word, I have a strong gut feeling that this is going to happen. No, why? So how can your brain gut think? Because there is a very strong connection between the gut and the brain. Or I have butterflies in my stomach because I have an exam today. Or maybe some people, they go into stomach upsets because of this. So your gut and brain are connected physically through millions of nerves, most importantly the vagus nerve. Gut and its microbes also control inflammation and make many different compounds that can affect brain health. Both probiotics and prebiotics have been shown to reduce levels of anxiety, stress, and depression. And it is so important in today's lifestyle, because half of the problems we have because of depression and stress. And we are anxious because of all these problems. By altering the types of bacteria in your gut, it may be possible to improve your brain health. High fiber foods containing prebiotics, fermented foods, probiotics, and other polyphenol rich foods, which are found in cocoa or green tea and coffee, which are plant chemicals that are digested by your gut bacteria, may improve your gut health, which may benefit the gut brain axis. Coming to herbs, condiments, and spices, you all are well aware, and this thanks to this corona pandemic, it has made us all so much aware. They are potent immune boosters from the kitchen, and they possess antiviral, antimicrobial activity, which helps to fight infections. Now, if we see the history of healing power of these plants, ever since ancient times, in search for rescue of their disease, the people looked for drugs in nature. You no. In the beginning, it was all very instinctive, like animals. Out of instinct, one they used to pick up the plants and used to experiment on a disease. In view of the fact that at that time there was no sufficient information either containing concerning the reason of the illness or concerning which plant and how it can be utilized for a particular illness. So everything was based on experience. But mind you, this experience, Tadima's experiences have actually been proved right by the science. And I can vouch for these because I have been through this COVID and Corona, and I had been infected, and I joined office yesterday only. And these, herbs and spices really helped me to bail out of this situation. So, in time, the reason for the usage of specific medicinal plants for treatment of certain diseases was being discovered. Thus, the medicinal plants usage gradually abandoned the empiric framework and became founded on explicitory facts. Until the advent of iatochemistry in the 16th century, plants had been used as a source of treatment and prophylaxis. Nothing less, the decreasing efficacy of synthetic drugs and the increasing contraindications of their usage make the usage of natural drugs topical again. Early 19th century, with the discovery and isolation of alkaloids and glycosides, it marked the beginning of scientific pharmacy. And in present days, almost all pharmacopoeias in the world, they prescribe plant drugs of real medicinal value. Let's talk of some important and easily available herbs, and actually they are useful. I can actually vouch because I've experienced. So benefits of tulsi: it fights common cold, promotes oral health, eases inflammation, protects the heart, nourishes the skin, relieves stress, and alkalines the body. And you can chew tulsi leaves in your mouth, or personally, I used to have it as a decoction of leaves with honey and ginger. It really suits the throat, and it helps in decongestion also. You can also have this juice, only the juice of leaves with these leaves with honey. So there are so many other options. You can have them in your tea also. You can infuse the tulsi drops in water and have warm water throughout the day, and it becomes easier to have water. Now, ginger, Another important thing, it fights infection, boosts digestion, controls nausea, reduces inflammation, increases blood flow. It might prevent cancer, prevent Alzheimer's disease, reduces blood glucose levels, and controls high cholesterol, and it is good for the hair and the skin. Now, health benefits of neem. Now, neem contains antibacterial properties. It cures asthma. It has anti-diabetic properties. It helps to cure leprosy, and it may work as a contraceptive in some cases. It helps to treat ulcers as well, maintains oral hygiene and health, and increases blood circulation. And in olden times, or you can say in golden times, before these toothbrushes were invented, neem twigs were used as toothbrushes, and the people would used to chew the neem twigs to clean the teeth and gums, and there were quite a fewer gum and teeth problems. All the parts of this tree are used. Neem leaves are used to treat, basically used to treat skin infections. Neem flower is used in aromatherapy as well as to treat intestinal worms, and neem oil is again used in cosmetics for skin and hair. Now, benefits of giloy, everything, everybody is aware of, because of this corona pandemic, and it has become a sort of a hero. It boosts immunity, treats diabetes, improves vision, treats arthritis, improves digestion, treats chronic fever, reduces stress and anxiety, reduces asthmatic symptoms, fights respiratory problems, and reduces signs of aging. So, there are so many concoctions of giloy available in the market, but my personal experience says that it is easier to have this when you have it in your backyard, and you just beat it and put it in water and boil it and have it. You can have it along with tulsi and ginger as well, so it is quite easy to ingest, and it is quite helpful. Amazing benefits of turmeric. It has anti-inflammatory properties, helps prevent arthritis, helps control diabetes, it detoxifies the liver, improves skin health, it helps in prevention of cancer, improves digestion, boosts immune system, promotes weight loss, helps in wound healing. Now, in this chapter, which I wrote in the book Endometriosis, I have mentioned that it has been studied by several researchers for its benefit in dealing with endometriosis, since it has been found that curcumin suppresses the proliferation of endometrial cells. Now, approximate curcumin content in turmeric is 2%. So, 7 grams of turmeric powder contains approximately 140 milligrams of curcumin. So, bioavailability of curcumin is increased by 2000% if it is combined with black pepper powder and then administered. So, it is very good idea to have it in milk, because milk fat is also going to enhance the bioavailability, and add a little bit of black pepper further to enhance the bioavailability of curcumin from turmeric. Wheatgrass is a potent detoxifier. It is high in many different enzymes, improves digestion and bowel movements, restores alkalinity of the blood and cleans and builds the blood, and it has chlorophyll. It might help in weight loss, and it acts as an anti-inflammatory. So the only thing is you can't go overboard with these things. So 20 to 25 ml is good enough. Amazing benefits of amla. As we all know, it is rich source of vitamin C, supports healthy skin, supports healthy immune system, and helps to maintain healthy heart, healthy digestion, healthy eyes, and healthy hair, and healthy glucose levels in the body. One Indian gooseberry a day should be fine. Approximately 10 to 20 ml of gooseberry juice, or 4 grams of the powder. Now, moringa, the health benefits of moringa: it prevents inflammation, helps prevent cancer, good for the brain, improves immunity, and helps prevent, it has antibacterial properties and protects the liver, reduces the symptoms of diabetes, and prevents respiratory problems. But again, one can't go overboard, because eating too much has its own repercussions. So, 1.5 to 2 grams is good enough. That powder is good enough to have. Now, aloe vera. It is a common plant in every home, and it is easy. All these plants are quite easy to, have it in your home. Like Dr. Manpreet said, we don't have the huge farms now, as in urbanization, so we can always have them in the pots. Aloe vera has antioxidant properties, treats certain skin conditions, prevents cavities, relieves constipation, heals burns, lowers blood sugar in diabetes, and reduces wrinkles. Wow. And it might cause allergic reactions. So again, there's a caution that you should have it in limited quantities, so might interfere with some drugs and cause diarrhea. And to ingest it orally, cut 2 aloe vera leaves vertically, scoop out the soft gel inside, grind this with a little bit of water and drink it. If you find it actually not palatable, so I can tell you one of my secret recipes, which I have made it. My mother made it for me. You cut the aloe vera, you just pluck the aloe vera leaves and you cut them in small pieces, wash them, cut them in small pieces and put them in bright sunlight for around about 3 to 4 days. And then after 4 days, you just squeeze some juice of lemon, again put them to dry for a day or so. And then you can add a little bit of black salt and ajwain and then grind it, and it makes a very tasty churran. And it's very, very good, and it is palatable. Now, curry leaves are packed with antioxidants that may protect your body by reducing oxidative stress. Every home in Chandigarh, I think, has curry leaves, and you see, Chandigarh, we are blessed with all curry leaf trees all around. So consuming curry leaves may benefit heart health. It may have powerful anti-cancer properties, the test tube and animal research suggests. And curry leaves often antibacterial, anti-diabetic, pain relieving, and anti-inflammatory effects. And it is, of course, versatile and tasty to include in all your foodstuffs. Uh, uh, After these herbs, let's talk about some spices like nutmeg. It contains antibacterial compounds that may help fight E. coli and salmonella, according to the research. Cloves, yes, cloves are also quite famous nowadays in this corona pandemic, and you can find all these on the Ayush karas. Like all these things are there. So help with cough and cold symptoms. Of course, they are natural mouth fresheners and help fight nausea, help control high cholesterol levels, as well as increases blood circulation. Cumin, that is jeera, is a potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant that may help stop tumor growth. And I would like to also say that this is actually a very good source of iron also. I mean, if you see that all the females who deliver after the baby, they are given this jeera pani. So, all this science has actually proved all the dagimas right. So, because of so much of blood loss due to delivery and all, so this was the reason that jeera water was given to the females to build up their iron. Now, cinnamon, just 1/4 to half teaspoon daily, lowers blood sugar and bad cholesterol, as well as triglycerides in people with type 2 diabetes. Now, all these again you find in the karas: black pepper, cardamom, celery seeds. Because black pepper, it has the properties to relieve cough, congestion, asthma, and fever. And cardamom, it removes cough, congestion, sore throat, and wheezing. And ajwain benefits asthma, wheezing, and congestion, and it's a mild laxative. But I personally found them easier to have when I made them right from the scratch at home. So after talking about all these herbs and spices, it's very important to touch on microgreens. Why? Because it's easier to grow microgreens, and they are actually packed with so much of nutrients. So microgreens are the early leaves and stems of growing vegetables or herb plants. They are older than sprouts but younger than baby veggies. Now, why this option? Because it can easily be grown in areas where land is often a limiting factor, and it has short growth cycle. It can be grown with and without soil and external inputs like fertilizers and pesticides. And to top it all, what is required in today's pandemic times, it is concentrated with bioactive compounds like vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. Many of these tiny microgreens can have 4 to 6 times the amount of vitamins and antioxidants than their adult form. To top it all, in lockdown times, when the kids are on online classes, they can always be guided to have it as a hobby, as a very nutritious hobby, and they're definitely going to eat what they sow. They'll be excited enough to eat, and their time will be actually benefited. So if we see the history of these microgreens, they were in 1960s, they were just as greens, in 1970s as grasses, 1980s as cresses and seedlings, in 1990s as vegetable confetti, and the first documented use of the word microgreen it was in USA in 1998. In 2000, local producers in North America started distributing them, and in 2010, microgreens started to appear at grocery stores so that food enthusiasts could enjoy them at home. Now, important edibles as microgreens can be like red amaranth, carrots, beetroots, broccoli. Again, whatever they have 4 to 6 times the nutrients of the adult form. Fenugreek, kale, dill, linseed, flax seeds. So they can be easily grown in home. Radish, red cabbage, fennel, mustard, onions, peas, red vein sorrel, golden corn. So it can be a very good hobby and a very productive hobby for adults as well as kids in today's times. Now, it's very important after talking about what the plants give us and how valuable it is for our human health. So, how they have actually been used as a therapy to cure lifestyle problem diseases like पौधे से पोषण करे कुपोषण की बीमारी ठीक. Now, leading causes of death in perspective is heart and circulatory disorders, cancer, respiratory disorders, digestive disorders, kidney disorders, infections. Now, infections, yes, today is the time of pandemic, it is the time of infections, but you see the death rate. Why was the death rate more in which individuals having all these things, heart and circulatory disorders, cancers, respiratory disorders? So, these infections, they upgraded the death rate because of all these leading causes. Now, this paper, Coronary Risk Reduction Through Intensive Community-Based Lifestyle Intervention, the Coronary Health Improvement Project experience, it states that measurable clinical improvements take place in short order in response to substantial lifestyle changes. Often, participants were able to decrease or discontinue anti-diabetic, hypolipidemic, antihypertensive medication. Reduction in important markers of coronary risk, such as serum lipid levels, were significant and rapid. Now, in heart disease, now this is no other diet has been shown to reverse heart disease the way the whole food plant based has. A review of plant-based diet it states that there is observational and interventional evidence that a plant-based diet high in antioxidants, micronutrients, nitrate and fiber, but low in saturated fats, trans fats may decrease the incidence of severity of heart failure. Potential mechanism for this includes decreased oxidative stress, homocysteine and inflammation levels, as well as higher antioxidant defense and nitric oxide bioavailability with gut microbiome modulation. We already talked about the gut microbiome. Now, this is very interesting. A whole food plant-based diet reversed angina without medications or procedures. Please note, without medications or procedures. A 60-year-old man presented with typical angina and had a positive stress test. He declined both drug therapy and invasive testing. He chose to adopt a whole food plant-based diet. Now, if you see the patient's functional capacity, he was able to walk 1 to 2 blocks in September 2012, and after 2 years, he was able to jog more than 4 miles. So, whole food plant-based diet helped reverse angina without medical or invasive therapy. It appears prudent that this type of lifestyle be amongst the first recommendations for patients with atherosclerosis. So, actually, it makes all the dietitians and nutritionists so empowered that we have so much power to reverse all these lifestyle diseases as well as to fight death without any invasive therapy or without any medication. If you see the restoration of myocardial perfusion, here there's a positron emission tomography performed on a patient with coronary artery disease, and if you see there's an insufficient blood flow, but following only 3 weeks of pure plant-based diet intervention, normal blood flow was restored. Again, reversal of coronary artery disease. Coronary angiography reveals a diseased distal, you can see a diseased distal left anterior descending artery following a 32-month of a diet-based, plant-based nutritional intervention without cholesterol-lowering medication. The artery regained its normal configuration. So, reversed angina. So, what was the diet before and diet after? The patient was having chicken, fish, low fat dairy, some vegetables, some fruits, some nuts. But after this, it was basically fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes and nuts. Now, another major non-communicable disease is diabetes. Consensus statement by the American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists and American College of Endocrinology, it states that all patients should strive to attain and maintain an optimal weight through a primarily plant-based meal plan, high in PUFAs and MUFAs, and limited intake of sat fats and avoidance of trans fats. Vegetarian diets and glycemic control in diabetes. A systematic review and meta-analysis states that consumption of vegetarian diets is associated with improved glycemic control in type 2 diabetes. Now, adherence to a vegetarian diet and diabetes risk. A systematic review and meta-analysis of observational studies, it shows that vegetarian diet is inversely associated with diabetes risk. Now, coming to another killer, cancer. 30 to 40% of cancer is preventable by nutritional means. Very small amount is genetic. We do have cancer cells in our bodies every day, and there is a balance between cell death and cell division. And when there is an imbalance, cancer happens. So, plant-based diet shifts the balance and modulates inflammation and blood flow. If you see the World Cancer Research Fund and American Institute of Cancer Research, the recommendations which they make, plant food, eat mostly foods in plant origin is one of the important recommendations they are making. And if we see the sub recommendations, number 4, eat more of a variety of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and pulses such as beans. Eat at least 5 portions, that is at least 400 grams of variety of non-starchy vegetables and of fruits every day. Eat relatively unprocessed cereals and grains or pulses with every meal. Limit refined starchy foods. People who consume starchy roots or tubers as staples, also to ensure intake of sufficient non-starchy vegetables, fruits, and pulses. Now you see the result. AICR recommendations, study using data from European perspective investigation into cancer. 3,80,000 people were tracked over 13 years, and those who followed 7 of the AICR recommendations had a 34% less risk of dying from all the diseases compared to those who did not follow. And having healthy BMI, 22% reduced risk of death. Having plant-based diet, 21% reduced risk of death. Another diet, DASH diet, dietary approaches to stop hypertension. This is a predominantly plant-based diet and evidence level A to promote lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, healthy weight. And evidence of benefit continues to grow since introduction in 1997. So blood pressure, if we see the meta-analysis of 24 RCTs, there's an effect of 7.62 in systolic and 4.22 points in diastolic, and that means replacement of one medication. Weight loss up to 35 pounds, lower LDL about 0.3 to 0.4 millimole, lower triglycerides 14 to 18 milligrams per deciliter. HDL, it was raised up to 10 milligrams per deciliter, improves insulin resistance, reduces bone turnover, improves heart failure, and possible reduce of depression. So what it all says is this diet that have 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, 8 serves of grain, 3 serves of low-fat dairy, 4 to 5 serves of nuts per week, and it approximately is around about 35 grams of fiber and 4.5 to 5 grams of sodium, 5 grams of potassium, and 500 milligrams of magnesium, and around about 1250 milligrams of calcium. So if you see this vegetarian diets and blood pressure, a comparison of systolic BP between vegetarians and non-vegetarians, in observational study, it favors vegetarian diets. Similarly, in diastolic, it again favors vegetarian diets. Now, talking about liver, every second Punjabi has a fatty liver. So it can be due to alcohol, but non-alcoholic fatty liver is also rampant. Why? Because all the faulty diets. So, this study analyzed the data and said that revealed that people eating a diet that is closest to the traditional Chinese diet, this is a Chinese study based on whole grains, vegetables, fruits, soy, and other beans, tofu, small amount of eggs, were much likely to have an NAFLD than people whose diets would be described as Western, that is, refined grains, red meats, processed and preserved meats, and seafood. Another paper on vegetarian diet, food substitution, and non-alcoholic fatty liver says that replacing meat and fish with soy and replacing refined carbohydrates with whole grains may be inversely associated with non-alcoholic fatty liver related to BMI. Now, this book on mindful eating that is called Savor, and the author has enlisted so many things about how to eat the food, like honor the food, engage all your senses. You should be not be only physically present, be mentally present when you eat the food. Be mindful of portion size. Chew your food. Eat slowly and mindfully. Don't skip meals. Highlights that eat a plant-based diet, and he says that when I say a plant-based diet, I really mean plants only. So, if we just summarize that vegetarian diets improve blood lipid profile, blood glucose level, reduce systolic BP as well as diastolic BP, maintain BMI, helps to maintain BMI, reduce oxidative stress, decrease endothelial inflammation, protects against plaque formation, reduce risk of cataract, decrease risk of diverticular disease, Crohn's disease, diabetic complications, some cancers, kidney failures, Alzheimer's or dementia, and possibly reduce the risk of gallstones. So, how to make it work? We as dietitians and nutritionists are empowered enough to make it work, and the only thing required is to impart knowledge to your patients, to the persons around you about good food, good nutrition, because knowledge and education is the base of all this. We think that everybody knows, but it is not the case. Practical applications as they pertain to health reasons for following a plant-based diet. Take evidence-based approach. Assess where your patient's diet currently is and help them to move to that one meets their health needs and personal goals. So you can take evidence-based approach, whether it is dietary guidelines, or whether it is my food, or whether it is any pyramid. So take evidence-based approach. Help patients understand how a plant-based diet impacts chronic conditions. Like research indicates that plant-based diets improve cardiovascular diseases, and I've already mentioned so many. Like there's a strong for blood pressure, for serum triglycerides and LDL, for weight status, and blood glucose, risk of heart disease, reversal of atherosclerosis and most types of cancers, and overall and disease specific mortality. There are fair indications that the plant-based diets really help in all these. Vegetables, including legumes, nuts, and seeds, provide adequate amounts of quality of protein, fats, carbohydrates, and dietary fiber. It should be nutritionally adequate diet. Such diets might not provide adequate amounts of direct sources of vitamin B12 or long chain essential fatty acids, so recognize supplemental needs for the same. So, putting it all together, whole food, plant based. Then God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds of the air, and all the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. God saw all that, and he had made, and it was very good. So, whole food, plant based diet, as T. Colin Campbell puts it, one of the most fortunate findings from the mountain of nutritional research I've encountered is that good food and good health is simple. The biology of the relationship of food and health is exceptionally complex, but the message is still simple. The recommendations coming from published literature are so simple that I can state them in one sentence. Eat a whole food, plant-based diet while minimizing the consumption of refined foods, added salt, and added fats. Now, is eating plants only healthy? Statement by Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. It is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegetarian, including vegan, diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes. Plant-based diets are more environmental sustainable than diets rich in animal products because they use fewer natural resources and are associated with much less environmental damage. Vegetarians and vegans are at reduced risk of certain health conditions, including ischemic heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, certain types of cancer, and obesity. Vegans need a reliable source of B12. So putting it all together, credit Juliana. This is a plant-based dietitian food guide pyramid. Drink plenty of pure water, green tea, and exercise or other tea. Exercise at least 1 hour every day. Fruits, all types, 2 to 4 servings. Vegetable, all types, including starchy, whole grains like such as brown rice, whole wheat, quinoa, oats, etc. 6 to 11 servings. Leafy greens, 2 to 3 servings. Legumes, 2 to 3 servings. And high fat whole foods, avocados we don't have in India, nuts, and we can have nuts and oil seeds. So this is to summarize a pure plant based diet. So 400 calories of oil you see in the tummy, and 400 calories of chicken, and 400 calories of vegetables. It gives you satiety, fullness, energy, phytochemicals, vitamins, minerals, and everything. So Albert Einstein puts, nothing will benefit human health and increase the chance for survival of life on Earth as much as the evolution to a plant-based diet. Thank you. Thank you very much for the patient hearing.
Thank you, Nancy, ma'am. There are some questions which have come from our participants. So, one of the questions is, can you throw light on a typical COVID recovery diet?
Can you just repeat it? Can any?
Can you throw light on a typical COVID recovery diet?
Yes, I have been a COVID patient, so I can actually put a good amount of light on it. So, you really have to watch your energy and protein. It is very, very important because the weakness that comes when you are going through this, and even after you have recovered, is actually handle. So you have to actually count your proteins, you have to count your calories, and don't have to give away that. Eat small, regular interval meal, and eat what suits your GI tract is okay, and there's no problem in digestion and all, so you can eat everything. And make sure that every meal and snack has a protein source. It's not only roti sabzi you are having and you don't feel like. You must see, does it have any protein source? Am I having curd along, or am I having a dal along, or am I having a soya along? Whatever. Maybe you can even in breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack on nuts and oil seeds. It's very, very important. So pull up your it's like the energy also should be apt. So you cannot ignore any meal or snack. That is very important. Or all these medicinal plants and herbs. I personally use this ginger, tulsi, giloy, kali mirch, haldi, throughout the day. All the milk, morning and evening, used to be, turmeric and kali mirch wala doodh, and and all the water which I ingested was having this tulsi drops and ginger. Might be sometimes not ginger, only tulsi drops. And hydration is the key. The hydration is very, very important. 4 to 6 liters of the fluid should go inside. It can be in the form of coconut water or soups, plain clear soups you want to have, or plain water with 2 3 drops, anything. But you have to count your bottles. seriously count your body that yeah, you had 4 to 6 liters of milk.
So I guess that is not just for recovery of COVID, all our participants. I think this is basically which everyone should do any which ways for to maintain a healthy diet.
Yeah, yeah, and
Another
you can
question.
also
Yes,
increase, the source of like there are small, small things like you have to see all the 5 food groups are there in your food, and you have to you increase, enhance the iron availability, your vitamin C by just squeezing a little bit of lemon in your dal, roti. So, I mean, these small things you have to take care.
right. Thank you, ma'am. Another question is that any plant or plants, herbs, spices that you feel are a must in someone's or anyone's home. This question is in consonance with the National Nutrition Month theme also.
Yeah.
So, which
See,
plant or herb you feel is a must or
See,
are a must?
actually, we are blessed enough to be in this part of the continent and this part of Earth that we naturally are using all this in our kitchen. I realize, like you don't realize it. Once you're sick, you realize you already have everything in your kitchen, and you already have everything in your kitchen garden. So the only thing is, वो सर पे डंडा पड़ता है तभी realization होती है. So don't wait for that. So basically, keep on having these. Everybody has haldi, everybody has tulsi, and giloi. Actually, I've seen in Chandigarh almost every home has. So everybody has jeera, ajwain. So all these things. I mean, there's actually it can be news for the Western countries, but it is a lifestyle here. The only sad part is that today's generations they are going towards the other Western lifestyle and leaving all this, which is, and the people from there have started valuing this. So we must realize that how lucky we are to be in this part and having all the access to all these spices and condiments and herbs, and we must use it in our daily life regularly, COVID or no COVID. I mean, it is for prevention basically.
Right. And the last question, ma'am. What's your recommendation of raw versus cooked for the plant-based diet?
Some plants, these cruciferous vegetables, they are activated. The compounds are activated when you chew them, and they are deactivated when you boil them. But the other plants, they are activated like lycopene. It is activated when you subject it to the heat treatment. So it varies. And secondly, it will depend upon your health, your GI health. If you have some acidity problems or if you have some GI problems, so definitely you cannot go into raw foods. Definitely you have to give them some heat treatment and then have it. So basically it depends from person to person how the person can take it. Raw definitely has more value, but then you should be able to ingest it.
And ma'am, any side effect in case if there is an overdose of any particular type of herb or spice?
Yes, yes, because it can irritate the GI, the mucosal lining. So it can lead to, for example, if you have loads of garlic, raw garlic, so there are cases that they have irritated the GI lining and resulted into ulcers. So one has to be very careful, not to go overboard. Like even I saw these iron sharas. If you have them overboard, you end up having loose. So it was always better to have it in the thumb rule is half teaspoon for around for people of four in the family to cook only, half teaspoon of any spice. So this is a thumb rule to be used. Even for turmeric, WHO says up to 3 grams is good enough. So you can't. It has everything. Balance is the key. Everything going overboard has its repercussions.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you for the participants as well. So thank you, Nancy, ma'am, for such an extensive lecture and detailed information. And I think a take-home message for all of us is let's make nutrition our hobby. A request to all the participants that the feedback form link has been shared in the chat screen. And while filling up the form, please make sure that your name, your designation, and your institute is right, because that is what is going to come in your certificate. To sum up the webinar with a quote by Jack Weatherford, even in this high-tech age, the low-tech plant continues to be the key to nutrition and health. I, on behalf of PGGCG 42 and IDA Chandigarh chapter, would like to take this opportunity to thank our worthy speaker, Dr. Nancy Sani, for taking out time from her busy schedule to deliver such a fruitful lecture. I'm sure our participants must have grasped information from this interesting and meaningful talk. A big thank you to our principal ma'am, Professor Binu Rotra, for her continuous motivation and supervision to make us strive towards excellence. I'm grateful to Dr. Preeti Sharda for her constant guidance and technical support in helping us put this webinar together. Heartfelt gratitude to our IDA Chandigarh chapter convener, Mrs. Sunita Malhotra, and head of the department, Dr. Manpreet Kaur, their unflinching support and faith in us. An extended thank you to Dr. Navina and Ms. Megha for coordinating. And of course, the webinar would have not been complete had it not been for our participants. So thank you one and all for your willingness and involvement in the webinar and making it a success. And I would just like to conclude by saying that take care of your body. It is the only place where you have to live. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for the exhaustive presentation. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.